The end of the world is happening. They are the only ones who can save it. Everyone's dying and... Ah!
Great. Welcome to Middle Ground Books After Hours.
My name's Megan.
My name's Deborah.
And I'm Lance. And so glad you joined us this evening. We're all quite tired. We are going to be talking tonight about Travis Baldree, sometime video game developer, sometime audiobook narrator, sometime author. And he's also just did the audio narration for Matt Dinneman's new book, Operation Bounce House.
I just finished that today. It was very good.
But before we get into it, we listened to a couple of podcasts, specifically SFF Addicts, which is Science Fiction Fantasy Addicts, episode 39 and 40, and we will try to put those that podcast in the
Description.
The notes description.
Which the amazing Cosmic Ron from Cosmic Atom Studio does for us, like everything that is reasonable and good. So, first question, are you glad we listened to the podcast?
For me, it was more for writers, and I'm not a writer, but I mean, there were parts of it that were kind of interesting, I guess, just to find out more about how books get published. Because, you know, like starting with going from just indie or self-publishing something and getting then picked up by a bigger publisher is something that we see a lot. I think that, you know, it's a small book like that just, you know, ends up getting a lot of traction online and then blows up, and so then a traditional publisher picks it up. So he talked a little bit about that, and yeah, it was okay.
I found it interesting because I am not a writer. I mean, I had to write things for school, obviously, but writing a term paper is very different from
Writing
composing a book from start to finish. I thought it was very interesting how he kind of had like this sort of grand and glorious vision of what a real writer did, and he tried that over and over and it didn't work. And then when
he was talking about being a pantser at that point.
Yeah, but he was also talking about like being like a real writer just sits down and has the inspiration and it all just comes. And then he was like,
well, I'm going to back us up because that's important. Kurt Vonnegut, actually, there's a beautiful book that's about Kurt Vonnegut's writing style called Pity the Reader. And I don't it's one of his disciples or people who studied with him, but he makes the distinctions between plotters who like do an outline and figure that out versus pantsers who basically the characters lead them through, and it's more of a mystical operation.
Fly by the seat of your pants. Yeah.
I was saying that he had in mind that that's what he wanted to be, and he tried to do that many, many times. And it didn't work. Like, I think he said that he had done 7 or 8 times like that and never actually accomplished it. But then when he leaned into his methodology that had successfully worked to make many different video games, and he used that process of planning it out and making an outline, then magically, mystically, he could write and complete a novel. And so it was like, okay, it's good to realize that we each have our own strengths, and we should actually lean into our strengths instead of trying to make ourselves into something that we're not. But I found that very interesting, even though I'm not a writer, because I feel that it can apply to all of us in different areas of our life. That, you know, if there is something that you can do well, think about what is it that made it so that I could do that well, and how can I apply that to other areas of my life where I'm struggling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. Don't try to force yourself to like be a certain way that it doesn't work for you.
That you think is the right way. Do what you can do.
Or when I was listening the first time, when I was just listening to the podcast after we've already listened to the first book chronologically, the second book in the series, which is Bookshops and Bone Dust. We had listened to that one on Libro FM, which is Libro FM is like Audible, but not evil. Like, it's very similar.
Yeah, it's good for authors. It's good for independent booksellers. It's good for you as the customer because you actually own the book.
Yes, they DRM free, etc., etc. But, Audible is also great if you're evil.
And if you want to, have to continue paying membership fees for the rest of your life to have access to the book that you have already paid for. But anyway.
So I at first had kind of listened, I think, charitably. But then, Debbie, you kind of made me feel kind of made me think about it a little more critically. And I kind of wish I hadn't listened to the podcast now because I like him less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because through the process of the podcast, he kind of told people, oh, what you should do is you should put your book out. You should self-publish your book out there on Amazon so you can take advantage of Amazon sales and so that you can see what if the market is interested in your book and then it'll take off and then this will happen and that'll happen. It's like, okay, but listen, guy, reason that this happened is because there were independent booksellers in bookstores who decided to promote your book. And the reason that this happened is that there were booksellers even in Barnes & Noble who went against Barnes & Noble policy to find a workaround to be able to promote your book. And the reason that all of these people did that is because you already had a platform as an established audiobook reader.
Yeah. For Audible,
which is, again, the evil corp. Anyway, but all of that to say that worked for you because you already had a platform.
And a bit of a name out there, yeah.
And the average Joe on the street writer who probably
is completely unknown,
who probably has an idea that's just as good or better than yours, that's not going to be their experience unless there are also independent booksellers who get behind their idea and promote them and put them out there. So it's got to be a community effort. It's not just going to magically happen.
Well, and I don't know that it doesn't have to be a community effort. All you have to do is get listed first on Amazon.
Well,
there's a lot of stuff out there. Even, as I recently learned, AI generated slop.
Yeah.
On Amazon. That's not good.
But what are you saying, get listed first?
Well, no, what I'm saying is, we have to just come to terms with the fact that in so many ways, Western society is a poop show.
I mean, it's. Are you talking about the greed-driven nature, or what are you saying?
Like the fact, even as an indie bookstore, who do we mainly deal with? Well, we deal with the 5 publishers who still exist for the most part, and then we've got a dozen or so genuine indie presses. Now, what does a genuine indie press mean? It means that they are genuine independent presses. And so, one of the things that struck me when Mr. Baldree was talking was independent. Well, that just means Amazon. It means you pay the bill, you do your editing, you do your stuff.
Oh, you're saying if you publish for self-publish, is that what you're saying?
For him, indie publishing is self-publishing.
Right.
And for us, indie publishing, they're indie presses.
Yeah, small presses.
People who do this for a living, day in and day out, and look for and encourage, beginning authors, independent voices, people who haven't existed. And Amazon hasn't been terrible. I say evil in so many ways, but Amazon has kind of broken the stranglehold that the big 5 had over everything. Yeah. And so these independent presses do have a lot more play. They have a lot more access.
Right, than they used to have.
But at the same time, saying independent, you're an indie author, that's completely ignoring the role that indie presses play. So yeah, in so many ways, I just felt like Mr. Baldree was talking about his experience, and in one way it was kind of talking down a little bit on the fans that, the power, and a lot of a heavy male, heavy action audience, and he said that he was, that was fine for what it was, but he wanted to do something different, and other places just. Well, I feel like he knows where his bread's buttered, and he's done very well from Amazon and from Audible, and why would he do different? And and he got picked up, and he got with TOR, which is Take Over the Rack, and it is Of course, he's had just a blessed existence, and that's
Right.
going to be everyone's experience.
But I think, it's not. But we have seen that, though, even at the bookstore where there's someone's book that gets a lot of traction, like other people start talking about it, and then gets picked up by a traditional publisher instead of like just self or indie published, which is great for them. But yeah, there's a lot of books out there, and if anyone can put together something and publish something via Amazon, that just means that there's all the more to sift through that might not be that good. And like
The bigger issue is that Amazon is not good to authors. Amazon is not good to sellers. Amazon is not good to customers. So it just frustrated me that when the hosts of the podcast were kind of asking him, okay, what did you do? What advice would you give? That was
Still
literally
his
his sole advice. And I was like,
well, that just means that he wasn't screwed over by them. Unlike most people who probably deal with Amazon do get screwed over because Amazon is Amazon.
But as independent booksellers, you have to take what we say with a grain of salt, because Amazon does make our lives quite a bit more difficult every day. And in most ways, that books that Amazon has for sale that are published via Amazon, well, they're only available on Amazon.
How convenient.
But books that are published through Ingram, which are available to all of the independent booksellers, amazingly enough, Amazon also has all those titles as well. So it is very much, we live in a free market, a democracy where there's no such thing as monopoly. There's no such thing as monopsony. There's no
Hilarious.
such thing as market controls and
but this
inequity.
makes you understand the appeal of Travis Baldree's books, because it's a fantasy where these wonderful small businesses just
Get started.
happen.
I
they
have never considered the irony.
It's like by magic.
Yeah.
It's absolutely magic.
So yeah, in Legends and Lattes, there's this lovely coffee shop in a fantasy setting.
Without a Starbucks next door.
Right. And in Bookshops and Bone Dust,
Amazon doesn't exist.
there's a struggling little bookshop that the heroine of the story helps to gain new life and new vitality.
Without, Amazon next door. And this is the interesting thing. Like so even today in the shop, some people were talking, I wanted to say his name, but I'm not going to say his name. I was talking, I asked him what video games he was playing right now. And he was saying, he was playing a trading card shop simulator. And so
It's a cozy video game.
It's where you're like carry out trading cards, and you've got virtual customers come in, and there's also a bookshop simulator.
Yep. I was just going to say that I know there's a bookshop one. I was trying to look up what it was called.
Where, you can pretend you're owning your own bookshop and stocking shelves and I asked him on that one, does it show you how to advertise?
Yeah, can it help us learn how to advertise?
Help us with our marketing plan.
Does it help you control expenses? I kind of have my doubts.
It's not a tutorial.
But
Darn.
But all of the, the simulators, they don't show you that. Oh, by the way, the market is completely screwed against you. What you do, it is an uphill climb. The playing field is not in any way equal.
Yeah, but I think one of the things about the Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust does bring up is the importance of that little community that a shop like that has. You have your regulars that come in, and you have just those people that are supporting your store. And I mean, that's...
Well, and just tonight,
Very true to life.
Some dear friends, we have, for this month, we've got 10% off of all Black American authors for this month. And one of our customers was saying how they approved, but they were torn because part of them really likes the notion of a discount, but part of them wanted to pay more to keep us in business.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and at the Bridgerton Tea Party event that we just had, two of the customers gave me twice as much money as the fee was. And I was like, oh, let me get you your change. And they're like, no, just keep that. I'm like, really? I really? And they're like, no. We want to support you. And it was a lovely event. Just put it all in the register. I was like, oh, thank you. So we do love our customers, and we do have a great community. And yeah, that much of the story is certainly true. But
Yeah.
It would be great if everything falling into place so sweetly. And
But that's part of the thing about a cozy fantasy is it's comforting. it's low stakes. And I think that's why people like them, is because it's a simple, it's cozy.
All right, so now
like a cup of hot chocolate and a blanket by the fire.
Yeah, exactly.
now since we've got the podcast thing out of the way, from here on out, we're just going to pretend like we never heard Mr. Baldree ever say anything
About Amazon. Yeah.
about anything. Like, we're just
Okay.
going to pretend it's just a story.
Okay. But I did like listening to his audiobook. And as I've said before, I enjoy audiobooks narrated by the author because I
Yes.
feel like it gives a greater insight into the characters and how they intend it to be read. And I appreciated hearing him read the audiobook.
Great.
Well, I'm just saying, as we've been reading, like we got a physical copy of Legends and Lattes, and we've been reading it together, which is a good experience for a different reason because it's the community of reading together. But I feel like since we had already listened to Bookshops and Bone Dust, I had in mind kind of especially who Viv was, and even
Yeah.
And the Bookshops and Bone Dust, completely unmemorable to me.
Oh.
It's like, in terms of like the reading and stuff. I mean, he's fine, but he's no Jeff Hayes.
okay, this is true.
So few are. Like, Jeff Hayes is a top tier audiobook narrator. Like, I don't think anyone can really come close.
I feel like Jeff Hayes is just a top tier, like everything. I bet he's great at badminton.
What?
I don't think that being a great voice actor carries over into like
Badminton.
backyard sports. You're not automatically good at lawn darts because you can do a good Carl voice.
And so, for you guys who don't know, Jeff Hayes is the audiobook narrator for Dungeon Crawler Carl and Sound Booth Theater out of Kansas City. Someday we're going to do an honest-to-goodness advertisement for them. If, 11 people or more listen to us who don't already know about Dungeon Crawler Carl.
I feel like
But
most
anyway,
people do.
going back to talk about Travis Baldree's work, the first one in terms of the series, Debbie, is the Legends and Lattes that we are reading together now, not listening to. So, Debbie, tell us about the scenario.
So Viv is a mercenary who's been part of a group that they go on various quests to earn rewards, and she's been doing it for a long time, and she's now in her 40s, and she's kind of having a midlife crisis and realizing she doesn't want to go on
And Viv
being a
is,
sword for hire.
An orc.
she's an orc. So the fact that she's 7.5 feet tall and probably 280 pounds, that's significant. But anyway, sorry for interrupting.
No, it's okay. But she's starting to feel aches and pains in her body, and she's like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And
It's rough work being a big bad.
and she and her group are visiting a city where she discovers the delights of coffee and decides that that's what she wants to do with her future, start a coffee shop.
In a world where most people don't know what coffee is, which is kind of some fun parts of the book, is because she's trying to start this wonderful coffee shop and making amazing coffee, and people have no idea what she's trying to sell them. So I enjoyed that part of it, trying to explain what it was. What do they
Bean
call
juice.
it? Bean juice. Yeah.
Exotic bean juice.
Exotic bean juice.
And I forgot to we were going to change our menu items for coffee to say exotic bean juice.
We still can.
Yeah, that needs to be a thing.
That can be in the month of March. Our new menus can say exotic bean juice.
So Viv comes to Thune. Mm-hmm. And Megan, give us the rundown.
She hires I can't remember his name. Is it Cal?
Calamity.
Well, they call him Cal, right?
Yeah, they do call him Cal.
I was like, I forgot that was his full name, Calamity. So hires Cal to renovate the space because the one she purchases is in rough shape, which, you know.
That's how it is.
Seldom are you going to find a space that is like perfectly suited to what you need. You might have to make changes.
So, for instance, we signed the lease for our bookstore on April 1st, and we opened on January 24th, and June 24th, and we were doing renovations right up until the very day of the grand opening, and we're still doing things. So,
yep, it's kind of an ongoing process. But yeah, so Cal helps Viv get her place in better shape and more suited for a coffee shop. Then also meets a whole other cast of characters and finds an employee, Tandri, to work in the coffee shop. And she has strengths in other areas and, like, you know, helps a lot with the more marketing type of things and like making things appealing to people and trying to attract customers. And
they make a good team.
Yes, they kind of help each other.
And then they get an adorable third member. Oh, yes,
the baker who makes delicious treats to go with the coffee.
Thimble, the ratkin
Thimble,
baber.
the ratkin, which I wondered if that was some sort of health code violation, having a rat be in the bakery and make food. But I suppose this is a fantasy world. I will suspend my disbelief.
And I think that from what the book says, the aromas coming from his kitchen would take away any doubt anybody had about his suitability as a baker.
Yeah.
It can make you kind of start to salivate and want some treats as you're reading.
That's the thing with cozy, even like a cozy mystery that's like talks about food a lot, or this one that talks about foods and drinks a lot. It's like, oh man, I'm hungry now. And it's like when I watch a baking show, it makes me hungry.
Well, and that was one thing he talked about, is that like part of his inspiration for this was he wanted to make a Hallmark movie in the fantasy world, in the Forgotten Realms.
I think he succeeded.
He also wanted to have it be a vibe like the Great British Baking Show, where there's conflict and there's, you know, suspense, but it's at the end of the day, everybody's going to hug one another and, you know, be sweet as angels, etc. Or a home renovation show. That was kind of what his thoughts were.
Everything comes together just right, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see how this turns out.
And both of those are present in this book.
Spot on. Mission accomplished.
And at one point, there's this, and I think it's telling, because there is, what was the Madrigal is the evil guy who, you know, the evil entity.
Guy?
Evil entity, the antagonistic force. And guy is a gender-neutral term.
Is it?
When I use it.
I mean, dude.
I say you guys.
I do. I say you guys.
When I'm talking to the two of you, and you're definitely
I'm not a guy.
A female.
I'm a dude.
It's ironic. So the Madrigal, at the end of the day, is in fact, turns
Spoiler
out,
alert. Not quite what you think it's going to be. Yeah.
But then you think about it. I'll have you read a book called The Everything Store. There's this great little diaper business that they delivered diapers for parents. It worked out, so they dealt directly with the big diaper manufacturers, and it shipped to home. And Jeff Bezos decided he wanted that company, and he offered to buy them. They said no, because they wanted their own company. So he dropped the prices. So he lost more in money than he was willing to offer for the store, just to destroy their business.
Yeah, reason number 278 why Amazon and Jeff Bezos are awful. I will say it again.
And he does the same things to bookstores.
Or the shoe company that he did the same thing with. Or just read the book Everything Store. You can buy it on Amazon. That would be ironic.
It would be. What a great idea.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
So the Madrigal is this non-evil entity that you can just, you know, that you give her some cinnamon rolls and she's great, and now she's your friend.
Do you think maybe we should send Jeff Bezos some cinnamon rolls and that would change his mind?
You know, we could try.
But we don't have Thimble to make the mystical, magical cinnamon rolls.
Magical cinnamon roll.
Sorry, I got us off track, and I promised I was going to not think more about the podcast thing, but then
It's still coloring your...
It is still totally coloring my judgment.
So I feel like this genre of cozy fantasy has really grown very recently, because I've read some that aren't just Travis Baldree's. I've
you're
read a
going to
few
share
others.
some other titles with
Yeah.
us.
Game of Thrones.
Definitely not cozy.
Joe Abercrombie.
No. Oh, I wanted to be sure to get the name right. So Sarah Beth Durst writes cozy fantasies, and I've read
So
two.
which one did she do?
She wrote The Spell Shop and The Enchanted Greenhouse, and she has some others coming out as well, which that's exciting, and I'll probably read those as well. They are, again, yeah, just very cute, and they're fantasy, but they're low stakes. Like, it's not like the end of the world is happening, and they're the only ones who can save it, and everyone's dying, and you know.
So
it's-
T. Kingfisher, right? T. Kingfisher, is that her
Yes.
name? Is it her?
Yes.
Okay. The Nine Goblins, whatever.
I haven't read that one yet, but
Well, on
one
the
of our
back-
customers recommended it,
On
and
the
I
back,
want to read it.
says low fantasy and high jinks. And I wondered if it was maybe like a thumb in the nose at, or like just a play on the high fantasy, low stakes.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's more of a cozy, I think, but it has more like a lot of comedy and silly hijinks.
I just want to also mention that there are maybe a tangentially or a similar cozy fantasy in Asian books. For instance, right now I am listening to a midnight pastry shop called how do I say it? Hualandong by Lee Onwa. And it's about a woman who runs a pastry shop to help the spirits to pass on to the next life. And, you know, so
That sounds fascinating.
it is. So like, yeah, so her grandmother, she actually inherits the pastry shop from her grandmother, and her grandmother tells her basically, you need to try to run the shop for, I can't remember how many months she requires her to try to run the shop in order to receive her inheritance. And she's like, okay, I know nothing about how to run the pastry shop. You never let me work there while you're alive. Why do you want me to do this now? But she goes there with this booklet of recipes. And the first night this woman comes up and asks her for this pastry. And then she like learns the woman is actually a ghost, and she's there, and she needs to like get rid of the regrets from her life and so on before she can pass on into the next life and be reincarnated. And so that's what her job is in this pastry shop. It's actually quite cozy and nice. Maybe I'm not describing it well.
No, I think I've noticed that too. We've got some other translated titles that are very cozy. Like I read the Cat Who Saved Books.
Yeah.
That's a Japanese translation, and it's also kind of a cozy. And yeah, and bookshops seem to feature in it quite a lot.
Okay,
Or
so
little
I'm
bakeries.
Yeah,
so
bakeries. Yeah,
the
tea
second
shops.
volume, which is the first volume chronologically, I'm going to try to move us on before our time is completely up. Called Bookshops and Bone Dust. Also is a start a small business in the fantasy world sort of title, and again, it's about a bookshop, and they have things that we do like the blind date with a book, like actually happens in
Yeah.
the Bookshops and Bone Dust.
People love it.
Renovating the space and getting new stock and all the things that are kind of tangential business related questions. Mm-hmm. In time, it is at the beginning of Viv's journey as an adventurer / mercenary. And she is staying in this small town, helping this small ratkin, whose name is Fern, to be able to, build up her store that has fallen in disuse. And this is the time where Viv learns to love to read, because before that time, she hadn't been a reader. The people that I have, like, I've seen a couple of reviews and talked to a couple of people about it, and they said, well, this isn't a cozy, because in this book, there is kind of a fair amount of violence, a fairly evil character, like kind of a world-ending evil
I guess
character.
it is less cozy than Legends and Lattes.
Yeah, I would agree. But I think, you have to have some sort of, it can't just, you got to have a conflict of something. Because, like the Sarah Beth Durst books, there are some, like, there's a whole revolution happening in one of them where the city is in upheaval and she has to flee. And that's what starts the whole thing in motion. So it is a cozy still compared to, like, if you're comparing it to Game of Thrones, it is definitely still a cozy. It's definitely still warm, fuzzy, cute.
See, and what I would say is, like, so we've been reading Beowulf at the store on the last Saturday in the month, Beer and Beowulf. beer from our amazing local brewery, Radius, and a bunch of us, I think we had like a dozen of us sitting around talking about Beowulf, drinking beer, and reading our favorite portions and talking about what we thought of it. So we've been reading in translation for the most part instead of in Old English. And I need to also put in a plug for a tremendous Old English. Somebody out there remind me next week, and I'll put in a plug for a really great podcast where they actually read portions from Old English, not only Beowulf, but others. And I would say Beowulf is bloody, and Beowulf is, there are high stakes. But I would say it reads more cozy than most cozies.
Why do you say that? Even though given the high stakes and the bloodiness?
Because in so many ways, it's all about dialogue. It's all about depiction. It's all about, like, it's poetic. It's beautiful. You can't really get more cozy, in quotes, than the Fellowship of the Ring, where they spend, like, 78 pages.
Well, but I don't know that would be a cozy, because there is super high stakes and there are intense battles.
Oh, it's definitely not cozy, but he was just saying nothing much is happening.
Oh, absolutely nothing is happening.
Trying to say.
Okay.
That nothing much is
happening. At the Council of Elrond, like, pretty much nothing is happening.
They're just talking about it.
And the elves and the dwarves are still pissed.
But
there's a newsflash.
Generally, most of us don't enjoy sitting in staff meetings and committee meetings. That's not cozy. That's like, let's get on with this, please.
All right, let's move on.
This meeting has been going on for an hour and a half. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Yep.
and conceded. Like, I don't think I really believe that Beowulf is a cozy, but at the same time, the heroic literature, I do really feel like Dungeon Crawler Carl is in the lineage of heroic literature. It is about...
it's pretty epic.
It's a fight against all odds that there is every reason that the main character will fail and die.
Right. Well, a fight for humanity.
Don't you think that there is space in life for both epic and cozy?
Oh, yes. I like both. I enjoyed Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I enjoyed reading The Spell Shop, where not a whole lot happens.
Sir is looking like he's not sure. You don't think there's room for both epic and cozy? Sometimes we just watch the Great British Baking Show.
That's true. But at the end of the day, will it make you choose to live?
Piece of cake? No.
Yeah, no.
No.
And so
what about
even
a good
if
piece
you
of
think,
bread?
Lance,
what about a good piece of bread?
if you think about
love
the
bread.
scene in the Fellowship where they're talking about how, it's just like in the old stories.
Right.
And that was one reason Tolkien centered on Beowulf during World War II, because even if you die, it still matters. Like, there's still something worth fighting for.
But what they were fighting for, the people back in the Shire, to have the cozy. Like, you need the epic to preserve
the cozy.
world where cozy can exist.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's so good. It's true.
I mean, that's what he talks about. Like,
yeah.
What does he say? I can't remember the taste of strawberries. And Sam's like, well, let's be rid of it then.
And I think in a lot of ways that Tolkien is, because you think about, like, one of my favorite parts in Tolkien is the cleansing of Shire, the denouement, where
at the end,
they come home. Like,
and make everything right.
You better not screw with Merry, Pippin, Sam, and Frodo at this point.
After all of this.
You're going to get your butt handed to you. Like, they're not hobbits to be screwed with anymore.
Right.
And so that is, like, it's low stakes. Like,
they're there to preserve the cozy, make it a good place to live. So Megan and I were kind of chatting before we started recording that there are also cozies in the world of sci-fi. For instance, Automatic Noodle by Annalee Newitz is about a group of robots who start their own noodle shop, and it's kind of the same thing. It's just
in a sci-fi world.
In a sci-fi world, and the people starting the small business are all AI robots of one kind or another. And I also just read like a cozy mystery in the sci-fi world. The first one is called Murder by Memory, and the sequel is Nobody's Baby. And yeah, they're cozy mysteries set. They're on a space cruiser with people that are on this centuries-long cruise to leave Earth and go and find somewhere else another planet to inhabit. And so because they are there on this spaceship for centuries and their memories are preserved in the memory library and they are re-embodied over and over. So crime and personal property and business and murder and having children, like in the sequel, there's suddenly a baby on the ship when like this is the first baby any of these people have seen in centuries. So it's a cozy in the sci-fi setting. So
yeah, I think people like this because it's an escape. Because as we said, kind of poopy out there.
Yeah, and like sometimes it feels like it's an epic battle just to get through your to-do list and your life. And so you just want to have the cozy and the deep contentment. Like, it's okay to have just peace and calm.
A simple life.
Be with the ones you love.
So until next time.
We'll meet you in the middle.
Hello, book lovers. This is Deborah from Middle Ground Books. You've been listening to Middle Ground Books After Hours, recorded here in Emporia, Kansas with Lance, Megan, and me. Come to Middle Ground Books to meet your friends, find your next great read, or help a child discover the wonder of imagination. Middle Ground Books After Hours is produced and remotely engineered by Cosmic Atom Sound Studios, producing the vision and making it sound. Cosmic Atom Sound Studios. Let's come together and build something new. We're so glad you spent this time with us after hours. Goodbye until next time when we meet you in the middle.
Hi. If you've enjoyed listening to Middle Ground Books After Hours and you think, what do these freakazoids look like? You could look on our Facebook page.
Or our website.
Or our YouTube channel.
Or our MySpace page. Or Tumblr.
We don't have Tumblr.
Okay, but the ones they said we can do. And so you can just get on the internet. Or if you just search Middle Ground Books.
They'll find us.
Yep. We turn up
Like
at the top.
It happens.
Yeah.
Like we're happening place. And we're going to try to post some pictures of our cats
They are not bookstore cats, unfortunately.
and other fun things. So you can check out the socials, check out the other things, and hopefully the MySpace page is coming.
I'll get to work on that.